YouTube, what's going on? HeirofCarthage here, and welcome to the Chill Flow. No, this is not a new series where we sit back and relax to some sweet-sounding tunes from the old world. This is a battle between Norska and the Vampire Coast, a battle between those who plunder and use the seas probably for transportation versus those who use the seas for all their pirating activity, though none of this will take place on the seas because, well, CA please. That rhymed in the end. Didn't even intend for it to come out that way, but it did. Now, seriously, CA, please get us some what do they call the sea battles for Warhammer? Hold on, the space battles were Battlefleet Gothic. I'm going to remember it here in a little bit, but I can't remember right now. Anyway, I want them. So, despite all that, let's take a look at the battle. We're going to have a Norska versus Vampire Coast battle. And this is going to be a couple of pretty sizable armies when we look here. Well, mostly sizable on the part of the Vampire Coast, but still a lot of Norskins here. There are going to be a couple of Marauder Berserker units, one of which is the Brutes of the Hound. And then there are some Marauders up front. There are some Marauder Hunters with Javelins in the back. I like this pick in case there's any large targets from the coast. There's a couple of Feral Manticores giving some speedy support. A Shaman Sorcerer of Fire. I love Lore of Fire. It's just a great all-around support. And then you got Wulfrik on his chariot. And then out here on the flanks, we're going to have 3 Marauder Horsemen. You can't have a Norska or Chaos Army without Marauder Horsemen. And there is a Marauder Chariot. Now, as for the coast, right up the center, there is a line of Zombie Pirate Deckhand Mob in a somewhat blocky formation. I'm going to slow it down for a second, and while I do, you guys get to see this beautiful burning head ripping its way through a Vampire Coast handgun unit. I want to explain these blocky formations, at least what I think that the player is trying to do here. If you attack these guys with your normal wide formation that's trying to avoid extra missile casualties, you're going to wrap on them like this, and then that gives these units the ability to shoot your guys on the flanks and make this unit more effective. That would be my guess as to what is trying to be accomplished there. Anyway, we got the line of Zombie Pirate handgunners, and then we're going to have a line of deck gunners, one of which is the Shade Wraiths. The Coast Army, whew, and the leader just took a big fireball in the face, is the Vampire Fleet Admiral, I about said Lore of Polearms, Vampire Fleet Admiral, Lore of Vampires. Lore of Polearms, there's a new one for us, CA. So we have several Zombie Pirate Deckhand Mob with polearms. They must be in favor of the new lore. And then a Necrofex Colossus. Let's get a good look at the battle. I'm going to zoom out for a minute because it is a huge battle spread across, and I want you all to see what's happening at the moment before we start zooming into specific fights. Norska has some great engagements going on their left-hand flank. Over here on the other flank, there are pirate mob falling apart, but the Brutes of the Hound took massive damage from these units on the way in, and really not a bad play by the coast over here, and even the Shaman Sorcerer of Fire is pushed out. Fortunately for Norska, though, they did get some damage done before losing that Sorcerer, and it may come back. Wulfrik is helping to clean up some Zombie Pirate Deckhand mobs. You can see that the Javelin Hunters are kind of sitting back still and starting to maybe get some shots. I think over here, yeah, we're seeing some Javelins thrown into these Pirate Gunners, so this is a good call here. The Gunners need to focus on the infantry. The Javelins can start trading against the Gunner. Nothing wrong with that. The Necrofex is being used as pure range support right now, firing from a distance. I'm actually kind of surprised it hasn't been firing at Wulfrik the whole time. If it had been firing at Wulfrik or the Manticore, it probably would have been able to get rid of one of them, or at least massively damage them by this point, and maybe force an attack in. The Marauder Horsemen are kind of being left on the flank to just throw their Javelins in, and they're being pretty effective at this point, helping to clean up infantry fights, just being a general nuisance. Look at this here, a Marauder Hunter with Javelin able to get close enough and take out the deck gunners, so a great play there from Norska. The Marauder Chariots now running all over the Shade Wraith gunners, but of course they're ethereal. It'll take a little longer to kill them at that point. On the right-hand flank of the Norskan army, they're finding themselves now fighting polearms. You can see a nice fallback here by the gunners from the Vampire Coast trying to get back into a new firing position. However, there is a pursuit here, nearby at least, by Marauder Hunters with Javelins. Right now those Javelins are being discharged into this very exposed flank of polearms, which is fine. That'll certainly do some damage. Look at this. Necrofex targeting some Javelins right now. Not a terrible idea. Those Javelins are certainly a threat at the moment, but again, I'm surprised that some of the key targets, look at Wulfrik here, hasn't really taken any damage from the Necrofex Colossus. The Colossus appears to have been spending most of its time firing at infantry units, in this particular case. And Coast is getting pushed back hard now. They're just kind of getting overwhelmed with numbers. I think their strategy, where they had those blocky deckhand mob formations, probably not a bad idea if you can get a more limited number of troops to charge that head-on, and you're doing damage to more expensive units. Earlier in that battle, a lot of deck gunners and shade wraith gunners. To me, these units are quite good at a few things, and one of the things they're quite good at is wrecking single entity models, potentially, and I didn't see any of that. I didn't see them targeted on Wulfrik yet. And over here, the polearm fleet admiral gets KO'd by a feral manticore, which, cool unit for doing this type of stuff. Doesn't have great AP, but feral manticores, they have a lot of attack, and they can be a great way to get in and cause some carnage and mayhem. And in this case, for Norska, a great speedy support unit that can get into a lot of different scenarios and potentially be useful. A bit risky in some ways, because I would say that the Coast has a lot of answers to not so well armored flying units. I'm sure that they could take them down in a number of ways, but they didn't. And they were able to get a bunch of damage done here. So we're going to see Norska just absolutely ripping their way through this one. And at this point, with a clear advantage, the fleet admiral is gone. A lot of the troops for the Vampire Coast are falling apart here. So a nice Norska play, I think, against the Coast. The Coast can be kind of a mess to deal with sometimes. I don't think they're like the best faction in the game by any means, but the Coast can hold you for a long time. They can bog you down for longer than you think. And when your faction doesn't necessarily have like super high leadership, something kind of like Norska here as an example, that can become a real problem in the end. But in this case, I feel like Halo did a good job here of managing. We'll just call him Phil here, I guess PHL 1510. I don't know if that's exactly how it goes, but we'll just say Phil. So Phil's army, interesting to me. I like all the pirate gunners. This could potentially be very helpful, especially if they field a mammoth or something like that. And I don't necessarily disagree with the pick of these deck gunners. I'll demonstrate an idea why here in a moment. But I mean, these deck gunners to me should have been used against single entity targets, and the Necrofex Colossus to support them. And you can potentially do some very quick damage, and we'll go check that out here in just a moment in kind of a best case scenario. Obviously, battles never go in a best case scenario, but I'll just give you an example of what you might be able to pull out there. Lure of Vampires, not a bad support. It can heal, it can resurrect units, you can bring, I think you can summon more deckhand mobs. Definitely a useful potential here. But again, good game by Halo. Let's go check out something real quick with the deck gunners and the Necrofex. Okay, folks, I've set up a scenario here that was meant to represent the what if the Coast had allowed Wulfrik to get close enough and maybe got like a chance or two to fire at Wulfrik with the combined threat of all of these range units. How quickly could they deal with him, and how deadly were they against him? And the answer is very. Look at that. That's basically just one solid salvo out of those units, and Wulfrik is toast. So this is why I don't disagree with the picks of the Vampire Coast here. I think that these units are totally capable, and I don't expect that Halo would have made it quite that easy to shoot Wulfrik to death, but all you need is one good volley, and see, this key units are just absolutely wiped out. Absolutely wiped out. So I just wanted to show you the damage potential of these three units. Again, this is an idealized scenario where the AI was coming straight at me. That's not the way Halo plays a game, but was just using it as an example of all you need is a minute for a unit to, or sorry, a second for a unit to screw up, and you get a couple good salvos, even if it wasn't all three deck gunners, two of them plus the Necrofex, or just think about that Necrofex firing over time, you know, as Wulfrik was trying to support that. So that's definitely, in my opinion, where the Coast player would, I just threw Salty Salt Spite in here just because you have to have a Lord. She didn't have any effects or anything active during that battle. Anyway, again, the purpose of this was just to give you all an idea that those units certainly are good against single entity targets. I think in this case they got used too much against targets where they would have been less than ideal. I do remember that the Fire Sorcerer got busted down rather quickly. I didn't catch exactly what did it to him in that replay, but Wulfrik could have also been busted down to size fairly quickly there, had a good volley been tuned on him. So be careful of that when you're fighting the Coast. Don't underestimate those things. In this case, worked out quite good for Halo. He played well. He had the attention of the Coast player in a lot of different positions with all those units moving around. But definitely, the Coast has got to use those units that you bring to do max damage to the critical units so that that leadership and the ability to continue the fight kind of falls apart for the factions like Norska. Whenever you pick apart some of their leadership and key units, they don't fight as well, right? So that's typically the way it goes. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed this one. Appreciate Halo sending that one in. He's been a long time viewer and supporter on the channel, and he's even done a couple of tournaments, so appreciate all that he does to support. Hopefully we'll have some more stuff from him in the future. HeirofCarthage signing out for now. If you all liked the video today, please go up and hit the like button. Something small you can do that really supports me in a big way, bigger than you'd think. It's very helpful. And if you want to see more, make sure you're subscribed. YouTube has this crazy bell. If you want to click that, it'll make sure that you're notified. At least they say so every time that I upload a video. And I hope to see you on the next one. HeirofCarthage signing out for now.